How have stories around the Queen's health gone down in America?
Well, we do have people that, we're pretty concerned, and you can see that through the headlines we have here in the States. They're curious, but I also, as somebody that loves the royal family and watches the royal family, I remember that Queen Victoria mourned for Prince Albert for 40 years. The fact that we saw the Queen so quickly after Prince Philip's death was incredible. We saw her a lot after his death, which surprised me quite a bit. And, her mother lived to be 101 years old. So I am firmly under the belief that she is just needs a nap or two, just needs some rest. And she's quite frankly owed that at this point in time. And so I hope, and my thoughts and prayers are with the royal family, but I also remember that we saw them kind of frazzled and surround themselves by Prince Philip. We saw them pursue him when he was ill, which alerted us to the fact that perhaps it was really serious. And we're not necessarily seeing that same urgency in this instance. So again, I'm very much praying for her. I love her dearly. I think she's absolutely precious, but I wouldn't go overboard with some of the coverage the way I've seen it.
I think you're absolutely right. She simply needs a rest. That is very clear, and that's the message from the palace. She appeared online because this woman, as you know, is unstoppable. And here's a clip of her in action on Zoom.
Very glad to have the chance to see you, if only mechanically this morning. I don't know what you do with it. You put it in a cupboard.
Somewhere safe. Yes. This evening I shall show the children and the grandchildren who are waiting in our house.
All right. Well, that'll be nice. But it's rather a nice medal, isn't it?
I love the description of the internet as mechanical, and this woman is certainly not in decline.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I are mechanically we're just mechanically friends. That's really the only way we know each other, and I'm okay with that. No, absolutely. She is so chipper, so witty. She's on her game, and I absolutely adore her. So I look forward to seeing her again soon. But you know what? I'm perfectly okay with seeing her just over Zoom. I almost feel like the pandemic really was beneficial for the royal family's brand, because all of a sudden, instead of just shaking hands with strangers on the street, which they were no longer able to do, we were able to see them communicating with all of these charity workers, with all these NHS workers. We were actually able to see them engage with people for the first time, to communicate back and forth. We got to hear their voices more often. We got to see Prince William's quick wit. And I think that while it's been a horrible time for the world, as far as the royal family's brand is concerned, it almost elevated them globally, because we had more access to them than we've ever had before. And specifically with the Queen, we've heard her speak more in the last year and a half than we've heard in so long. So, I think it's benefited that brand immensely for them to have to convert to Zoom, to have to convert to the digital age, or mechanically, and to communicate with their subjects that way. It's been really fascinating to see.
Well, I completely agree. We've seen Prince William and Kate surprise people on Zoom as well, and I think that the Queen has actually really opened up in the last couple of years. It's been a tough time. Her country and, of course, the world has been in the grip of the pandemic, and very sadly she lost her beloved husband. But she definitely does, notwithstanding her sort of intermittent health issues, seem to have a spring in her step, a twinkle in her eye, and a smile on her face. The Prime Minister commented on the Queen and her health just recently. Kinsey, take a look.
It's very important that she should follow her doctor's advice, but as you know, she's determined to be there at the cenotaph. I've no doubt that will happen. I think that we've just got to let her get on and rest. But as you know, she's very, very hard-working. She continues to be at her desk.
I want to get to quite an important email. Occasionally, you have to sort of interrupt the flow when editorially something happens on a rolling news channel. I've had an email from Leona who says, "Dear Mark, why didn't Prince Harry marry Kinsey Schofield?" I'll continue. She's so beautiful and she has a great personality. Harry would have done so much better. Any comment from you?
I mean, this is why this is my favorite show and channel in the entire world. This is the best. It's good TV.
Well, look, I'm your #1 fan, but clearly Leona is too. And every time you're on, we get a flood of emails and tweets as well. So it really is the highlight of our show at the weekend to have you on. And let's talk about somebody that's going through a tough time and having relationship problems. Ioan Gruffudd, and a messy social media situation with estranged wife Alice Evans. Tell me more. And for those that don't know, who is Ioan Gruffudd?
Okay, well, I actually did enjoy him in the Fantastic Four. He's also in Titanic, but I would tell you I did not know the man's name. I knew his face. He has got a very handsome face. He's a movie star, but he was not a household name in the States until he filed for divorce against his wife, Alice Evans, who's also an actress. This happened in March. His poor wife found out about him filing for divorce over the internet and really started hammering him online after that happened. She was devastated. She said that he was leaving her and her daughters. You know, I don't know her personally, but she does have a very impressive resume. You can read her bio, but you also can see that there are gaps in that resume. So you have to suspect that she made some professional sacrifices, some physical sacrifices for her family. And she is really angry, and she's taking it out on Ioan on social media. And I'm kind of team Alice on this. I hate to break it to you. Like, I have no regrets. I feel really guilty for her. If he had not posted a picture of his new girlfriend on Instagram, I would have said perhaps he's just unhappy and he has decided to move on. He's no longer in love, and that would have been fine. But Instagram is a place, generationally, Instagram is a place that is not for a man of his age and his buddies. Instagram, their demographic, they're targeting people his daughter's age. So to post a picture of him and his new 20-something-year-old girlfriend on Instagram, it feels arrogant. It feels callous. This is something that his children can stumble upon. And it almost makes this whole thing look like a midlife crisis versus whatever it could have looked like. If you wanted to introduce the world to your new girlfriend, I suspect that, or I would have personally staged paparazzi photos, handed them to Page Six, handed them to People magazine, walking down the street holding hands. That's the way to do it humbly. That's the way to do it under the radar. But to post the pictures on Instagram at the same time as your 20-something-year-old girlfriend, who is likely, perhaps, allegedly behind the double posting of the Instagram pictures, it feels so cruel to his current wife. They're not divorced yet. It feels so cruel to his wife and daughters.
I think it's insensitive. Here is the tweet from his estranged wife, Alice Evans. Ross has got this, so let's flash it up on the screen. Take a look. So it turns out that my husband, after 2 years of telling me I'm a bad person and I'm not exciting, and he no longer wants to have sex with me, and he just wants to be on set abroad, he has been in a relationship for 3 years behind all of our backs. Good luck, Bianca. Ouch.
Oof.
That's a roast.
She dropped the mic right there. And you just have to wonder what he was thinking, what he thought was going to come of this. She's been very vocal ever since, March. So what was his plan? Did he think that, he was just going to go on and continue to take all of the acting jobs Dominic West turned down and everything was going to be fine? I don't know what he thought was going to happen. But, tweets are tweets. Don't forget, Lisa Left Eye Lopez burned her boyfriend's house down. I'd take a mean tweet over, my house being burned down any day. So Alice Evans is not the villain here. It's very much like the Charles and Diana instance where his team is trying to make her look crazy. And if you look through her feed, she reacts to that. And she says, I'm sorry that dealing with my divorce or that dealing with my marriage crumbling after 20 years is inconvenient for you. She's really witty, and she's going to pull through, and she is going to come out on top after all of this. That's my personal opinion.
I'm sure she is. I'd like her to become a bigger movie star than that charlatan of a husband of hers. Very briefly, with the clock against us, Kinsey, we wouldn't normally talk about COVID because my viewers love having you on the show because it's fun showbiz stuff. But Anthony Fauci, America's medical chief, is something of a national celebrity. And Senator of Kentucky, Rand Paul, wants to see him fired, wants to see him stand down. What is the current position of Anthony Fauci? Does he enjoy the support of the American people?
You know, it's a recent poll came out that said that for the first time, I think, really, that more people would like to see him step down than people enjoy seeing him in his position. Things kind of went south early on with Fauci for the American public because there was no consistency when it came to his mask policy. But most recently, he was on a weekend news program and said he wasn't certain whether or not the American public were going to be able to be with their family this holiday season. Now, keep in mind, it's football season. So we're sitting at home watching these thousands upon thousands of people sitting in stadiums, watching football, watching basketball, and watching baseball, thinking, so these thousands of people can watch these guys play on fake artificial grass, but I cannot see my grandmother. It's just, he has no consistency. And I think that people are kind of sick of his, it feels like, where do you really stand? Where do you truly stand? So I think it would benefit the American public if we could replace all of them. But I'd say let's start with Fauci.
Yeah, I wonder whether the Americans should employ Joanne Griffith as their medical chief, because I don't think he could do a worse job than Anthony Fauci. But of course, that's just my view. Listen, great to have you on the show. Can't wait for a week's time. Thank you so much to the brilliant Kinsey Schofield. Her website, by the way, is must read. It is called To Die For Daily.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.